everyone, welcome back to another book craft video with the West Islip Public Library. Today we are going to be doing pumpkin book crafts. It's perfect for the fall season that's coming up. A great way to utilize those discarded books that may be worn, maybe torn, something that you might be willing to part with. So I'm going to show you the supplies that you're going to need to create this pumpkin book craft. So you're going to need discarded book. Something, again, like I said, something made that maybe already torn or worn. You're gonna need a pair of scissors, a Sharpie. I had some leftover oak tag to make a template, but you can use regular paper, some orange paint, a paintbrush. If you have green ribbon, that would be awesome to create the stem part, but you can also use twine. Anything you have left at home, maybe a Halloween or a pumpkin ribbon would be awesome as well. And some twigs that I found in my backyard, hot glue gun, and hot glue sticks. So I'm going to change the view so you can see me create this craft. Okay, so I created a little workstation for myself here at the kitchen table with some older paper so that I don't destroy my workspace. So basically what you're going to need to do to start off this craft is a book. I ripped the covers off. It makes it a little bit easier to cut the book pumpkin. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your template. You don't even really need to create the template if you don't want to, but some people find it a little bit easier. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the template. In order to create the template as well, I just kind of rounded out the edges. I just freehanded it, kind of like the shape of what a pumpkin in my mind would look like. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. If you plan on making multiple, you could do some smaller, some bigger. They look really pretty next to each other. So basically what you're gonna do to start the craft is you're going to take your template, take your Sharpie marker, and trace it out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a few pages at a time, kind of however many you can, cut through. It doesn't really matter how many. And you're going to cut around that template. Like so. So you can see this part. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that top part and you're going to rip it at the stem, and then you're going to take that bottom part and you're going to do again, rip it at the stem of the book, so that you're just left over with this. So you're going to keep this attached. That's very important, so that you can create the shape of the pumpkin. So as you can see, I already started this one, so this is all attached to the stem. So I'm going to continue to work on this one just for the purpose of the video, but as you can tell, I already have the template out here. So once you start that initial template, you don't really need to continue to use this. You can just basically trace over what you had already cut. Take a few pieces and cut around, just like I showed you before. And again, sometimes once it gets closer to the end of the book, they just fall apart, or if it's a much older book like this one is, it's gonna fall apart quicker. So again, I'm taking my Sharpie marker. It doesn't have to be a Sharpie, it could be a pen, whatever you have around the house. I'm going to take a few pages like so. You can see that there. And I'm going to cut around that outline. Okay. And then the scraps you can just put off to the side. Now, if you have a really old book that may be falling apart as you're cutting, that can definitely happen. What I recommend is having the hot glue gun at hand and then going into the stem part of it, just hitting that stem part with the glue gun so it doesn't fall apart for you while you're, before you can finish the craft. Okay. Again, I'm tracing it and cutting. Right, and it takes a little bit of time, but it's not too bad once you get the hang of it. All right, and this would be my last page that I'm going to be doing. Okay, and there you have it. You have your book pumpkin. So it doesn't look like much yet, but it will once you start gluing it and you get it around. It'll look like the finished product like this. Okay, so at this point what you're going to want to do is you're going to apply some hot glue to the stem here. So just try and open it up as much as we can. We're going to hot glue the stem part to open it up. And you don't want to let that sit for a second. Now, depending on your template, it may stay on its own, or you may need to create a little base for it to stand up. This one I had to create a base. I actually used the ribbon, but you may need to do that in order to allow it to stay. This one looks like it's staying pretty well. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fluff it up as much as you possibly can. In order to do that, you're going to want to apply some hot glue to certain pieces so that it stays, especially into the stem as well. And you just work around it. Every book is different, so you may, some of them, the thicker the books, actually the better it stays put. So the less pages that you have in the book, the more you're gonna have more gaps. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply the stem. So I'm gonna pick like an opening that I have before I completely close it, and I'm going to put the stem right in the middle and hot glue that part. Like so, see? And we're gonna hot glue that. And then what we're gonna wanna do is we're going to want to take the 2 pages around it and hot glue like that, so that you can see the stem. So you don't see the stem, I mean. Okay. Let me just move the camera. Okay, so that's a better view for you to see. That's how the pumpkin comes out. So you can actually leave it like that if you like the color of the book, if it's a little bit more worn. You don't have to do the next step if you don't want to. You could skip over and go right to the ribbon. But I like it with the orange paint. I think it gives it more of a little bit of a pumpkin look, but it's really cool on its own as well. Okay, so again, the stem, you're going to put it in the middle, and then see how I covered it up with the book pages. You can continue to hot glue around so that it's fluffier. All right, so now on to the next step. We're going to take our paintbrushes and our orange paint, and we're going to paint the outer edge of the pumpkin like I did with this one. As you can see, they're different sizes, so you can put them next to each other. Okay, so you're just going to take your paintbrush some orange paint. And you're going to simply just paint the edges. You can actually group them. It makes it a little bit easier for you, as you can see. And just paint the edges. Like so. And you continue to go around. And you're going to want to fan them out after you paint so they don't stick together. Make sure you separate them as you go around. Okay, so you can see, you could just do a little bit, so it gives it a little bit of an orange tint. You could do it more if you want a little bit more orange. And again, you don't have to even touch it if you don't feel like it. So after you finish completely painting it, you're gonna let it dry for a little bit, and then you're going to take your green ribbon. I'm gonna use this green ribbon. Cut a piece off, and you're going to tie it to the top of the stem. You can use curly ribbon if you want it to be curly. Cut it. You can add more if you want more. And there you have it. That's your book pumpkin. And again, if it is a little bit wobbly, you can cut out a piece of oak text, stick to the bottom, give it more of a base. And those are your book pumpkins. So again, thank you so much for joining us for another book craft video. Stay tuned for some new ones coming up in the following months, and we hope you enjoy. Thank you.